What if everything you've been told about losing weight has been keeping you stuck in the same frustrating cycle? Here's the uncomfortable truth that the fitness industry doesn't want to admit. Most people aren't failing at fat loss because they lack willpower or discipline. They're failing because they're unknowingly sabotaging their metabolism within the first hour of waking up. While everyone's obsessing over which diet to follow or how many hours to spend at the gym, they're completely missing the real battlefield where body transformation is won or lost. Those morning habits that seem harmless, maybe even healthy, they're silently killing the body's ability to burn belly fat, no matter how hard someone tries later in the day. The shocking part isn't just that these habits exist, it's that millions of people repeat them every single morning, wondering why their weight loss efforts lead nowhere. But here's where it gets interesting. Once someone understands what's actually happening in those crucial morning hours, they can flip the script completely. Small changes in the morning routine create massive ripple effects in metabolism, calorie burning, and fat loss throughout the entire day. This isn't about adding more rules or restrictions. It's about removing the invisible blocks that have been standing in the way all along. The 7 habits about to be revealed have destroyed more body transformation goals than any cheat meal or missed workout ever could, yet hardly anyone talks about them. Ready to discover what's really been holding progress hostage? Topic 1. Skipping breakfast or poor morning nutrition. Here's the thing about skipping breakfast that most people do not realize. It's not just about missing a meal. It's about sabotaging your entire metabolism before the day even begins. When someone wakes up and decides to save calories by skipping that first meal, they're actually telling their body to slow down, to conserve energy, to hold on to every ounce of belly fat like it's preparing for a famine. The body's fat-burning machinery needs fuel to start running, and without it, everything grinds to a halt. It's like trying to drive a car with an empty tank and wondering why you're not getting anywhere. That morning window right after waking up is when the body is primed and ready for healthy habits that jumpstart calorie burning for the entire day ahead. Imagine you're someone who's been skipping breakfast for months, thinking you're being disciplined. You wake up at 6, rush through getting ready, and head out the door with nothing but black coffee sloshing in your stomach. By 9 o'clock, you're irritable and foggy-headed. By 10:30, you're raiding the office vending machine for whatever sugary snack will stop the hunger pangs. Now imagine instead you'd taken just 12 minutes that morning to scramble 3 eggs with a handful of spinach and half an avocado. Your energy would be steady, your focus sharp, and that vending machine? You wouldn't even think about it. That's not willpower. That's biology working with you instead of against you. The protein and healthy fats send signals to your metabolism that say, "We've got resources, let's burn some energy," while the skipped breakfast sends the opposite message entirely. The wisdom here isn't complicated, but it requires a shift in thinking. Breakfast isn't optional if body transformation is the goal. Discipline in the morning sets the tone for discipline throughout the day. When someone honors their body with proper nutrition first thing, they're practicing self-control and stewardship over their health. It's about understanding that fitness motivation does not come from feeling deprived and starving. It comes from feeling energized and strong. So the real question becomes, what kind of morning routine is being built? One that supports fat loss and vitality, or one that keeps pulling in the opposite direction? Because here's what most people miss. What happens in those first waking moments doesn't just affect breakfast, it ripples into every choice that follows. Topic 2. Hitting snooze multiple times and poor sleep habits. Or sleep. There's a brutal truth about that snooze button that nobody wants to hear. It's not giving rest, it's stealing momentum. Every time someone hits snooze, they're fragmenting their sleep into useless chunks that leave them groggier than if they'd just gotten up the first time. The body goes through sleep cycles, and when that alarm goes off, it's because the cycle is complete. Hitting snooze throws the system into confusion, disrupting hormones that regulate metabolism and fat burning. What's worse is that poor sleep habits create a cascade effect. Cortisol levels spike, hunger hormones go haywire, and suddenly that person is craving sugar and carbs all day long. Picture yourself on a typical Monday morning. The alarm screams at 5:30. You slap the snooze button. Just 9 more minutes. It goes off again, another slap, another 9 minutes. This dance repeats 4, maybe 5 times until you finally drag yourself up at 6:15, feeling like you've been hit by a truck. Now imagine a different scenario. Same 5:30 alarm, but this time you've placed your phone across the room. You have to get up to turn it off. Your feet hit the floor, you splash cold water on your face, and within 2 minutes you're awake. truly awake. The difference? In the first scenario, you've trained your body that alarms don't really mean anything, and you've disrupted your cortisol awakening response. In the second, you've honored your commitment and given yourself 45 extra minutes of actual productive time instead of fragmented, worthless sleep. Here's where discipline and hope intersect in a powerful way. Changing sleep habits requires commitment, but it's absolutely within reach for anyone willing to try. Start by setting a consistent bedtime, eliminating screens an hour before sleep, and placing that alarm across the room so getting up becomes non-negotiable. The body adapts faster than most people think, usually within a week or two of consistency. This isn't about perfection, it's about persistence and honoring the temple that's been given. When sleep improves, everything else follows. Energy returns, fitness motivation increases, calorie burning becomes more efficient, and suddenly the path to body transformation doesn't feel so impossible. But sleep isn't the only thing that gets neglected in those crucial morning hours. Topic 3. Drinking too little water. First thing in the morning, most people stumble out of bed and head straight for the coffee pot, completely ignoring what their body is actually screaming for: water. After 6, 7, maybe 8 hours of sleep, the body is in a state of mild dehydration, and every cell is begging for hydration to kickstart its processes. Without water, the metabolism stays sluggish, like trying to run a factory with half the workers missing. The liver, which plays a massive role in fat loss, needs water to metabolize stored fat into usable energy. When someone skips that morning water, they're essentially telling their body to keep everything in slow motion, making fat burning far less efficient than it could be. Imagine you're standing in your kitchen at 6 in the morning. You're groggy, moving on autopilot. In one version of this morning, you reach for a tall glass you filled the night before, 20 ounces of room temperature water with a squeeze of fresh lemon. You drink it down over the next 5 minutes while looking out the window. Your cells are hydrating, your liver is firing up, your metabolism is getting the signal to start working. Now imagine the other version. You skip straight to brewing coffee, maybe grab a sugary energy drink from the fridge. By 10 o'clock, you've got a headache. By noon, you're exhausted and reaching for snacks because your brain is confusing thirst signals for hunger. Same person, same day, but these 2 mornings will create completely different outcomes in energy levels and fat burning capacity. The beautiful thing about this healthy habit is how ridiculously easy it is to implement. No equipment needed, no major time investment, just intentionality. Keep a large glass or bottle of water on the nightstand, ready to drink before even getting out of bed. Make it part of the routine, as automatic as brushing teeth. This is where perseverance meets practical wisdom. Small acts of self-discipline repeated daily create the foundation for lasting change. When the body receives proper hydration first thing, it responds with energy, clarity, and improved fat-burning capacity throughout the day. But even with good sleep and proper hydration, there's another invisible killer lurking in those morning hours that can derail everything. Topic 4. Starting the day with stress instead of calm. The moment someone's eyes open and they immediately grab their phone to check emails, scroll through news, or dive into social media chaos, they've just flooded their system with stress hormones before even leaving bed. Cortisol, the stress hormone, has a direct relationship with belly fat. The more stressed someone is, the more their body clings to fat around the midsection like it's preparing for battle. Starting the day in a frantic, reactive state sets the tone for everything that follows, and the metabolism pays the price. When the nervous system is stuck in fight or flight mode, fat burning takes a back seat because the body thinks survival is more important than weight loss. It's a physiological response that's been hardwired for thousands of years, and no amount of willpower can override biology when stress is calling the shots. Imagine you wake up and, before your eyes are even fully open, you're reaching for your phone. You see 17 work emails. 3 of them have urgent flags. Your heart rate jumps. Your boss needs something by 9. A client is unhappy. Suddenly you're anxious, your jaw is clenched, and you haven't even sat up yet. Your entire morning becomes a scrambled mess of rushing and reactivity. Now imagine a different approach. You wake up, and instead of reaching for your phone, you sit on the edge of your bed for 60 seconds and take 5 deep breaths. You think of 3 things you're grateful for. Maybe your health, your family, the fact that you woke up today. You pour yourself some herbal tea and sit in silence for just 5 minutes before the day's demands come knocking. Same challenges ahead, same busy day, but you're meeting it from a place of centeredness rather than chaos. Your cortisol stays balanced, your food choices stay rational, and your body stays in fat-burning mode instead of fat storage mode. This is where kindness to oneself becomes a game changer in the pursuit of body transformation. Creating calm in the morning does not mean life's pressures disappear. It means developing the strength to meet them from a centered place, rather than a chaotic one. Try starting with just 3 minutes of intentional breathing, or writing down 3 things to be grateful for, or simply sitting in silence while sipping water or tea. These aren't luxuries. They're investments in a metabolism that works with you instead of against you. When stress is managed from the first waking moment, the entire day's calorie burning and fat loss potential multiplies. But there's another common mistake that undermines all this careful preparation, and it has to do with what happens or doesn't happen. Topic 5. Having a sedentary morning with no movement or exercise. The human body was designed to move, yet countless people wake up and immediately plant themselves in a chair, first at the breakfast table, then in the car, then at a desk, without any real movement until hours into the day. This sedentary morning pattern is absolutely devastating for fat loss because it signals to the body that energy isn't needed. So why bother burning any? Morning movement, even something as simple as a 10-minute walk or some basic stretching, activates muscles, increases blood flow, and tells the metabolism to wake up and get to work. When someone skips this activation period, their calorie burning stays in low gear for hours, sometimes the entire day. It's like leaving money on the table. The opportunity for fat burning was right there, and it got completely wasted. Imagine you're getting ready for work on a Tuesday. You wake up, shower, get dressed, sit down for breakfast, then sit in your car for a 30-minute commute, then sit at your desk until lunch. By the time you think about moving your body, it's already noon and you've been stationary for 6 hours. Your metabolism has barely woken up. Your energy is flat. Now imagine instead that right after waking up, you spend 7 minutes doing a simple circuit. 20 push-ups, 20 squats, 20 lunges, and a 1-minute plank. Nothing fancy, no gym required, just your body and gravity. Or maybe you take your dog for a brisk 15-minute walk around the block, getting morning sunlight that helps regulate your sleep hormones for tonight. By the time you sit down for breakfast, your blood is pumping, your muscles are activated, and your metabolism has gotten the memo that today is a day for burning energy. That 7 or 15-minute investment creates a metabolic advantage that compounds throughout the entire day. Here's where hope and discipline come together beautifully. Starting a movement practice doesn't require being in great shape already. It just requires starting. The body is remarkably adaptable and forgiving, ready to respond to even small amounts of consistent effort. Set out workout clothes the night before, or commit to just walking to the end of the driveway and back if that's what's manageable today. Fitness motivation doesn't come before action. It comes after, when the body starts feeling the benefits and craving more. This is stewardship over health in its most practical form, honoring the gift of a functioning body by actually using it. Morning movement sets a powerful precedent for healthy habits throughout the day. But even those who manage to move often sabotage themselves with what they're drinking. Topic 6. Consuming excessive caffeine or sugary drinks early. There's nothing inherently wrong with coffee. In fact, it can support fat loss when used wisely, but the problem starts when someone turns their morning cup into a sugar-loaded, calorie-packed dessert in a mug. Those fancy coffee drinks with flavored syrups, whipped cream, and artificial sweeteners can pack anywhere from 300 to 600 calories before the day has even started, and that's not even counting the blood sugar roller coaster that follows. When the body gets hit with excessive caffeine and sugar first thing, it triggers an insulin spike followed by a crash that leaves someone exhausted, hungry, and craving more junk within hours. The metabolism gets confused, fat burning gets suppressed, and suddenly that person is fighting an uphill battle against their own hormones. What was supposed to be an energy boost becomes an energy drain that sabotages the entire day's progress. Imagine you're running late for work and you swing through the drive-thru. You order a large caramel macchiato with extra whipped cream and caramel drizzle. It tastes amazing going down, sweet, creamy, comforting. But by 9:30, you're crashing hard. Your energy is gone, you're irritable, and you're already thinking about your next caffeine fix. By 11, you grab an energy drink from the vending machine just to make it to lunch. You've consumed over 700 calories and 60 grams of sugar, and you haven't even eaten real food yet. Your insulin has been spiking and crashing all morning, and your body is in full-on fat storage mode. Now imagine a different scenario. You make coffee at home, drink it black or with just a splash of unsweetened almond milk and a teaspoon of coconut oil. Maybe you add a scoop of unflavored collagen protein for extra benefit. 0 sugar, maybe 50 calories total, and the healthy fat gives you sustained energy without any crash. By 9:30, you're still focused and energized. By 11, you're not even thinking about snacks because your blood sugar has been stable all morning. Same caffeine intake, radically different impact on weight loss and energy. The wisdom here is about making conscious choices rather than defaulting to habits that feel good momentarily but cost dearly over time. If caffeine is part of the morning routine, keep it clean. Black coffee, green tea, or matcha without the sugar bomb additions. If plain coffee isn't appealing, try adding cinnamon for flavor and blood sugar regulation, or a scoop of quality protein powder for a nutritious boost. This is where self-discipline becomes freedom rather than restriction, choosing what truly serves health goals instead of what advertising and convenience have programmed as normal. When morning beverages support rather than sabotage weight loss, the results speak for themselves in increased energy and steady fat loss. Yet even with all these physical habits dialed in, there's one final element that most people completely overlook, and it might be the most powerful of all. Topic 7. Ignoring mindset and motivation as part of the morning routine. Most people treat their morning routine as purely physical, what they eat, whether they exercise, how much water they drink, but they completely miss the mental and emotional foundation that determines whether any of it actually sticks. The mind is where every choice originates, and if someone's mindset isn't aligned with their goals from the moment they wake up, they're trying to build body transformation on shifting sand, starting the day without intentional thought about purpose. Without connecting to the deeper reasons behind wanting fat loss and better health, leaves someone vulnerable to every temptation and excuse that comes their way. The truth is, fitness motivation isn't something that just happens. It's something that gets cultivated deliberately, especially in those quiet morning moments before the world starts making demands. Without it, all the water drinking and early morning exercise in the world won't stick when life gets hard. Imagine you wake up and immediately start running through your physical checklist. Drink water, do some push-ups, eat a healthy breakfast. You're going through the motions, but there's no fire behind it, no deep connection to why you're doing any of this. By day 3 or 4, when you're tired or stressed, those habits start slipping because they're just tasks on a list, not anchored to anything meaningful. Now imagine a different approach. You wake up and before doing anything else, you spend 3 minutes visualizing yourself 6 months from now, leaner, stronger, more confident. You imagine how you'll feel playing with your kids without getting winded, or how you'll look in that outfit you've been avoiding. You write down in a journal, "Today I choose health over convenience. Today I build the body I want. One decision at a time." You speak it out loud. "My body is becoming a fat-burning machine. I'm getting stronger every single day." Now, when you drink that water or do those push-ups, they're not just tasks. They're acts of commitment to a vision you've already connected with emotionally. When temptation comes later, you've got something powerful to anchor yourself to. This is where faith and perseverance intersect with practical action, believing that change is possible, that effort will be rewarded, that today's discipline creates tomorrow's freedom. The morning is when this belief system gets reinforced or weakened, and most people don't realize they're making a choice either way. Starting the day with purpose, with clarity about why belly fat and poor health aren't acceptable anymore, creates an internal strength that no external circumstance can easily shake. It's about recognizing that the battle for body transformation is won or lost in the mind before it ever shows up in the mirror. Try reading something inspiring for 5 minutes, maybe a chapter from a book on discipline or health. Try writing down 3 non-negotiables for the day that support your weight loss goals. Try looking yourself in the mirror and speaking affirmations that remind you who you're becoming, not just who you've been. When mindset becomes part of the morning routine alongside all the physical habits, that's when real, lasting change becomes inevitable rather than just possible. Because here's the thing about all these morning patterns, they don't exist in isolation. They work together, and when someone gets them right, the momentum becomes unstoppable. So here's the moment of truth. What's going to happen with all this knowledge? It can sit here as interesting information that gets forgotten by tomorrow, or it can become the catalyst that finally breaks through those stubborn barriers to fat loss. Every single one of these 7 morning habits is within reach to change, starting literally tomorrow morning. No expensive equipment needed, no complicated programs to follow, just honest commitment to doing things differently than before. The question isn't whether this works. The science and real-world results prove it does. The question is whether there's enough hunger for change to actually apply it. Think about this. 6 months from now, someone will either look back grateful they started making these shifts today, or they'll still be stuck in the same frustration, wondering why their belly fat won't budge despite all their efforts. Which person will that be? What's the one morning habit that's been the biggest sabotage? The snooze button addiction? Skipping water? Starting the day stressed and reactive? The sugar bomb coffee drinks? Or maybe it's been ignoring the mental game entirely. Drop a comment below and be brutally honest, because acknowledging the problem is the first step toward body transformation. And here's the challenge. Pick just one of these 7 habits to fix this week. Not all 7 at once, just one. Master that. Feel the difference it makes in energy and fat burning, then add another. This is how lasting change gets built, one disciplined choice at a time, compounded over weeks and months until healthy habits become automatic and the old patterns seem impossible to go back to. The path forward isn't complicated, but it does require courage. The courage to look at what's not working and say, enough. The courage to believe that transformation is possible even when progress feels slow. The courage to show up for yourself every single morning, even when motivation is low, because discipline is what carries people through when feelings fail. If this opened your eyes to what's really been holding back weight loss progress, then subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications, because there's so much more to learn about optimizing metabolism, crushing fitness motivation barriers, and achieving the body transformation that's been waiting to happen. The knowledge shared here isn't fluff, it's practical, science-backed wisdom that works when applied. So don't just watch and forget, take action. Implement these changes, and come back to share the results. The journey to sustainable fat loss and vibrant health starts with what happens in those first waking moments. Make them count.